Have you ever stood before a challenge so vast, so intimidating, that every voice around you and even the quiet doubts inside whispers, "Impossible"? Most of us have. We've all felt that moment where reality seems to outsize our courage. But sometimes, in the most unexpected places, a story unfolds that shatters those limits and awakens something powerful within us. This is the story of the ant who believed. It was a gentle morning in a sunlit meadow, where dew still clung to the grass and the world seemed to hold its breath. Insects of every kind, grasshoppers, beetles, butterflies, and wasps, had gathered, drawn by curiosity to a spectacle at the heart of their tiny world. There on a dusty path stood the smallest ant anyone had ever seen, gazing up at a leaf nearly 10 times its own size. The leaf towered above the ant, casting a shadow that nearly swallowed it whole. The grasshoppers chuckled, their legs twitching in amusement. The beetles scoffed, hard shells gleaming in the sun. Even the butterflies, usually light and gentle, paused in their flight to watch what they thought would be a brief, embarrassing moment. Surely, they thought, this ant would give up, and this story would be nothing more than another proof that nature does not favor the weak. But the ant simply stared at the leaf, eyes determined, spirit unwavering. In the hush of the crowd, it whispered to itself a simple mantra: "I believe I can." Not loudly, not for others to hear, just a quiet promise to itself. The moment the ant gripped the edge of the leaf, the meadow erupted into noise. "It's impossible!" shouted a grasshopper, hopping high as if to prove his own strength. "You're too small," mocked a beetle, its voice thick with certainty. "Just give up before you embarrass yourself," sneered a wasp, wings buzzing with impatience. The ant said nothing. It didn't argue or defend itself. Instead, it focused on the challenge before it. Slowly, with every ounce of strength, it pulled on the heavy leaf. The leaf barely budged. The effort was visible, tiny muscles straining, sweat beading on its small body. But inside the ant, there burned a fire brighter than the sun, fueled by belief, not by the approval or laughter of the crowd. Every insect in the meadow knew the rules. An ant could carry 3, maybe 5 times its own weight. But this leaf? It was nearly 10 times heavier. Nature, science, experience, all declared defeat. But positive thinking isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing which voice you accept as truth. The little ant had made its choice. Day after day, the ant returned. Each morning, it approached the leaf, undeterred by yesterday's failure or today's doubts. Sometimes it managed to drag the leaf a few inches. Other times, the wind cruelly rolled the leaf back to where it started, erasing all progress. The crowd grew. Some insects came to laugh, their amusement growing with each failed attempt. Some came out of curiosity, wondering what kept the ant going, and a few began to silently ask themselves, what if? Then, on the 7th morning, the air felt different. The sun rose with a golden glow, and every insect found itself drawn to the path. The ant approached the leaf, its determination stronger than ever. It gripped the edge, took a deep breath, and with trembling legs began to lift, not just pull, but truly lift, the impossible burden. Inch by inch, it rose from the ground. The meadow fell silent. Not a wing fluttered, not a leg twitched. Even the proud wasp's sneer faded into awe. Before their very eyes, the smallest ant in the colony carried the giant leaf across the path. Not with magic, not with sudden super ant strength, but with the steady, persistent power of belief. That evening, as the sun set behind the trees, the insects gathered around the ant. Gone were the mocking voices. In their place was respect, curiosity, and a new sense of wonder. "How did you do it?" asked a ladybug, her eyes wide. The ant smiled gently. "I didn't listen to them. I listened to me. Every day I told myself, I believe I can. And because I believed, I tried. Because I tried, I grew stronger. And one day, belief became reality. The meadow was quiet, filled not just with admiration, but with possibility. Each insect realized the ant hadn't just moved a leaf. It had moved their hearts, shifted their perspective. The law of nature was not just about weight or size, it was about spirit. From that day forward, whenever an insect faced a challenge, too big, too heavy, too impossible, they remembered the little ant who carried a giant leaf. The story spread beyond the meadow, whispered from colony to colony, inspiring those who felt too small, too weak, or too alone. Positive thinking doesn't mean the world suddenly becomes easy. The leaf did not shrink. The ant did not grow 10 times bigger overnight. What changed was the ant's mindset. When it chose belief, it unlocked energy it never knew it had. It refused to quit despite failure. It stopped comparing itself to the stronger beetles or faster grasshoppers. Instead, it trusted the quiet voice within. That is the true power of positive thinking. Not that it changes the weight of your burden, but that it transforms you. It turns doubt into action, ridicule into resilience, and impossibility into achievement. So, let me ask you, what is the leaf in your life? Is it a dream, a goal, a challenge everyone says you can't lift? Are you going to listen to their doubts or to your own belief? Maybe, just maybe, your leaf isn't as impossible as it seems. If this story has touched something within you, share it with someone who needs hope today. Tell the world what leaf you're determined to carry. Because your belief might just inspire the entire meadow around you. Remember, sometimes the smallest voice, the quietest belief, moves the greatest mountains. All it takes is one ant to show the world that impossible is just another word for not yet tried.